As a business owner, if you're trying to get out from working in your business and back to on it, this is the video for you. See, in this video, we're going to go over how you can implement a system that's going to solve problems for you without creating more work. Sounds too good to be true? Well, stick with me to the end and you'll see just how powerful it is to implement a system feedback loop in giving you back time, money, and attention, and the ability to solve things at a system level as opposed to the individual level. Before we get started, my name is Carter Doyle. I served in the military for 12 years as an Army infantry officer, got out, started, grew, and sold my own company, and now I help businesses just like yours improve their training systems to see bigger margins faster. If that's something you're interested in, check out the link in the description down below. We'd love to help you out. Now let's get into the video. For the purposes of this video, we're going to be using the onboarding training as the example for where and how to use the system feedback loop. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing you're going to do is start identifying what the problem is. And some of the signs of the problem that there isn't even a problem to be identified is, are you constantly having to retrain employees? Are they constantly having to be supervised and kind of micromanaged? Do you have a high turnover rate amongst employees? Because confusion can create resentment and make them want to get out of the company. Or are there instances where you as the owner are having to step in and make a correction, or maybe you're just starting to see a shift or a slide of the standards that you've kind of set out and what the norm is for the company. A lot of these can be signs that the training that's being implemented isn't up to the correct standard, or that there are breakdowns within the training itself. So let's go over some of the ways that you can start identifying where those gaps are and how to correct them. The first thing I want you to do is start making an actual list of what the shortcomings are. And I want you to be as specific as possible and try to categorize those things that are being missed or that are constantly having to be retrained into buckets. What I mean by buckets is, let's use janitorial for a second as an example. And let's say that people just really aren't understanding the best methods of mopping the floor. And so some of the examples of how that could come out is that it's really streaky. Another version could be it smells like pine saw by the end, overpoweringly so. Or let's say at the end of mopping, the floors actually look worse than they did before. Now, those could be three different tasks, but they all fall under the kind of the umbrella and within the bucket, pun intended, of mopping itself. So then you can start identifying, okay, so then the task of mopping isn't being taught properly. So once you've done that and identified all the major buckets that aren't being taught correctly, this is when I want you to physically go and watch the training being conducted from your management team. Or if it's you, I want you to either record it or have someone else sit in and watch you doing this to see how it looks. Now, what I mean by how it looks is there should be multiple methods of teaching someone how to do a task. If you're only relying on visuals, or maybe you're only relying on hands-on without giving the context or a class before starting it, that can be an issue. And so when I'm saying I want you to watch the method in which it's being taught, this is what I'm talking about. Now, if you are the one doing the actual training, let's say it's a smaller business and you're kind of wearing all the hats right now, I want you to actually physically record it with video or, whatever it is, and watch it back afterwards to see how you did. It might be a little cringy seeing yourself on camera. I know the feeling, but I still want you to record it so you can take notes on yourself conducting the training. Now, that's going to be the review portion of this. The other portion is going to be, I want you to sit through that training and see where the new employees are asking the most amount of questions. Where people are asking questions can be a big sign and indicator of where confusion is starting. So the importance of people asking you questions is huge, because that's them throwing up a flag saying, I don't understand this. And maybe the teacher is not doing the best job of actually conveying or answering that question, and they just got tired of asking the questions, so they just let it go and didn't follow up to fully understand it. Later on, that's going to develop into and grow into an inability to do the task. So anytime someone asks a question, they're giving you free data telling you, hey, this wasn't conveyed properly, I didn't understand it. Quick caveat on the questions is one-off questions are totally fine and those are great. And let's say you knocked it out of the park explaining it to them, and there's really no repeat of that same question class to class of new trainings or new hires, well, then that just might be a one-off question. The big ones I want you to look for are when people are consistently asking a question about the same topic or within the same region of the topics being taught. Again, they're giving you the free signs that, hey, this isn't being conveyed correctly. So instead of throwing it on the employees and say, why don't they ever understand it? Look at it as a way to improve your own systems. They're giving you free feedback. And I want you to write all of that down. And in case I didn't say it before, this process should be repeated 2 or 3 or maybe more times to see where those questions are popping up. And if you're able to, I want you to sit through the whole entire onboarding training to see where those questions keep popping up. If you want to focus it on just the areas of where you're noticing those issues happening to start with, that's totally fine. But best case scenario is you're actually sitting through the entire onboarding system multiple times to see where people repeatedly ask questions. This is giving you free data that you don't need to bring anyone else in or create a new system or add more work to your process of, an exit survey or something. You're getting free information on where confusions are starting. So now that you've highlighted in your own notes where these issues and questions are coming up, this is when you're going to start pulling the trainer aside, and the two of you or just you are going to start working on how to improve those specific areas and lessons that are being taught. After you've made those changes and improvements and added more clarity to the topic that's being discussed, then you're going to go through and sit back in the training, or at this point you've brought into the loop your training manager, and you're going to have them make those notes for you. And you're going to sit through again 2 or 3 times and see if those questions went away. If they didn't, you may need to keep tweaking and keep improving the system to help clarify it further. But let's say best case scenario, those questions go away, but then you start noticing other questions start popping up. This is where the beauty comes in of the system feedback loop. It's a constant loop. And so you've answered all the questions they had originally, but now they're asking questions about this new area. They have again just signaled to you, hey, this is another aspect that needs to be improved and an area of the training that isn't clear. And again, this is the important aspect of going through the training multiple times, because one-off questions are fine and you might have been able to just answer it right there and it doesn't come up again. But after 2, 3, 4 times of sitting through it, if the same questions come up, you're able to go back and consistently improve your system. It may sound counterintuitive, but your best onboarding training comes from your worst onboarding moments, if you're able to capture them and improve. So at some level, you almost want there to be questions and breakdowns, because that's exposing weaknesses within your system that you can improve. And as the business owner, this is the scenario you want to be in. You want to be taking yourself away from fixing the individual problem and at the people's level, and you want to start getting towards the system and the business level. So like we said before, we're getting out of working in the business to working on the business. And this kind of approach, implementing a system feedback loop, is going to get you back into that mindset and into that systems-based frame of mind and working on the business. And although this isn't an instantaneous fix, I will tell you that if you're humble enough to be able to look at your training and improve it without just saying, hey, they should have figured it out, or we'll just hire better people, this will give you a marked advantage over other companies and their training systems, because you're adapting to what's happening and the questions and issues that are coming up in real time, as opposed to just looking for that perfect candidate who will figure it out on the fly. And the more you're able to do this loop on your training system, and the better you get at it, you're going to see huge improvements in the quality of the new hires you're hiring and bringing on, as well as a reduction in retraining, in turnover. And you're going to free up the time and mental capacity and load of your managers to be able to better do their job, because they're not having to focus as much on individual new employees that are being brought into the team. So it really is a win-win all the way around. So again, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I really do appreciate you guys sticking around. Be good. God bless. I'll see you in the next one.